Nobody noticed him at first. That was the strange part. Every morning, as the sun slowly rose over Liberty State Park in Jersey City, people rushed past with coffee cups in hand, eyes locked on their phones, minds already tired. Buses sighed as they stopped and started. Cars rolled by in steady lines. A helicopter sometimes passed overhead, carrying news crews toward Manhattan, its distant hum blending with the wind off the Hudson River. And there he was, a quiet man on a wooden park bench. His name was Michael Turner. Michael was a single father, a U.S. Army veteran, and a man who carried more weight in his heart than most people would ever see. His shoulders were strong, but his eyes held a softness that came only from loss and responsibility. Beside him, every morning, sat his 7-year-old daughter, Emily, her small backpack resting against the bench, her legs swinging as she watched the world wake up. Michael always arrived early. Not because he had somewhere important to be, but because kindness, he believed, should never be rushed. Years earlier, Michael had served overseas. He had learned discipline, sacrifice, and silence. When he returned home, life did not become easier. His wife passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone with Emily and a grief that never fully loosened its grip. Nights were long, bills were longer, and memories often came uninvited. Yet every morning, Michael put on a clean jacket, tied Emily's shoes, and walked to the park. On this particular morning, the air was cool and green with spring. Sunlight filtered through tall trees, painting soft shadows on the paths. Joggers passed. Office workers waited for the city bus near the park entrance. A tired-looking woman struggled with grocery bags near the curb, her hands shaking slightly. Michael noticed. He always noticed. Without a word, he stood, walked over, and gently took 2 of the bags from her hands. She looked surprised, then embarrassed, then relieved. "Thank you," she whispered. He smiled and nodded, already stepping back. Emily watched everything. "Daddy," she asked softly, "why do you help people you don't know?" Michael sat back down beside her, eyes on the river where ferries glided like quiet thoughts. "Because once," he said slowly, "I needed help too, and someone helped me." They didn't have much. Michael worked night shifts driving a city maintenance truck. Sleep was short. Money was tight. Some days he skipped meals so Emily wouldn't have to. Still, every morning he brought an extra sandwich, an extra bottle of water, sometimes a folded bus pass he had saved. And somehow, those small things began to change the park. A homeless veteran named Ray started sitting closer to Michael's bench. A young college student, Hannah, stopped to talk while waiting for her bus. An elderly man named Mr. Collins shared stories about Brooklyn in the 1960s. People who had never spoken before now exchanged smiles. Michael never told his story. He just listened. But challenges followed him like shadows. Some mornings, Emily asked why other kids had more toys. Some nights, Michael stared at unpaid bills, his hands trembling. He battled memories he never spoke about. And sometimes, when the park emptied and the city grew loud, he wondered how long he could keep going. Yet every morning, he returned to the bench. Because kindness, he believed, was not something you did when life was easy. It was something you did when life hurt. And unknown to Michael, someone had started watching him. Noticing the quiet man. Noticing the change. A small act of kindness was growing roots in a place no one expected. The first real test came on a rainy afternoon. Clouds rolled low over the city, turning the park paths dark and slick. The wind pushed leaves across the ground, and buses splashed through puddles near the entrance. Emily clutched Michael's hand tightly as they walked, her voice small. "Daddy, can we go home today?" Michael nodded, "Of course." But before they reached the bench, they saw Ray, the homeless veteran, sitting alone, soaked, his jacket torn and thin. His hands shook from the cold. People passed by quickly, avoiding eye contact, eager to escape the rain. Michael stopped. He looked at Emily. She looked back at him, understanding more than her age suggested. Michael took off his own jacket. "Daddy," Emily said softly, "you'll be cold." He smiled, "I'll be okay." He placed the jacket around Ray's shoulders. Ray looked up, eyes wide, then wet with something deeper than rain. "You don't have to," Ray said. "I know," Michael replied, "but I want to." That night Michael caught a cold. He missed a shift at work. Missing a shift meant missing pay. Missing pay meant another bill pushed aside. Stress pressed heavily on his chest, and for the first time in a long while doubt crept in. Was kindness costing him too much? The answer came days later. A city bus stopped near the park, and a woman stepped off holding a camera, followed by a man carrying equipment. They introduced themselves quietly. A local news segment, they said. Someone had written in about a man whose small kindnesses were changing lives. Michael tried to refuse. "I'm not special," he said. "We know," the reporter replied. "That's why we're here." They filmed from a distance, Michael sharing his sandwich, Emily helping hand out water, Ray smiling for the first time in weeks. The helicopter passed overhead again, sunlight breaking through clouds, casting the park in warm gold. The story aired that evening. The next morning, the park was different. People came carrying bags of food. A woman dropped off children's books for Emily. A mechanic offered Michael free car repairs. A city official quietly arranged housing support for Ray. Notes appeared on the bench. Simple notes. Thank you notes. Michael stood there, overwhelmed, tears filling his eyes. "I didn't do this for attention," he whispered. "I know," said Mr. Collins, placing a hand on his shoulder. "That's why it matters." Challenges didn't disappear. Michael still worked nights, still worried, still fought memories, but now he wasn't alone. Kindness had come back to him. And Emily watched it all, learning something no school could teach. That one good act, done quietly, could echo louder than any helicopter in the sky. The park became a meeting place of hope. Seasons changed. Leaves turned gold and fell. Snow softened the city's edges. In spring, green returned stronger than before. Michael and Emily were always there, sitting on the same bench, part of the rhythm of the place. Emily grew taller. Michael smiled more. One afternoon, a man in a suit stopped by, stepping out of a black car parked near the curb. He introduced himself as a community coordinator. He spoke of programs, support opportunities. Not fame, not money, just stability. Michael listened quietly. Later, as buses came and went and children laughed in the distance, Michael sat alone for a moment, watching Emily play near the trees. His chest felt full, heavy, light. He thought about how close he had come to giving up on kindness during that cold, rainy week. How easy it would have been to focus only on survival. Instead, he chose compassion. And compassion chose him back. That is how faith in humanity is restored. Not through loud gestures. Not through grand speeches. But through a tired single dad, a little girl, and a park bench in a big city. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, take a moment to pause and reflect. Somewhere around you, right now, someone is struggling quietly. A small act of kindness may change their entire world. Please comment below and share your thoughts. Like this video if you believe kindness still matters. Share it with your friends and family who need a reminder of hope. And don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Quest, where real stories remind us that humanity is still alive, still gentle, and still worth believing in. Thank you for listening.